Here with Munford High School head football coach and athletic director. His name is Michael Easley. I'm Eric Kane here at VolQuest.com, breaking down the commit for Tennessee and four-star safety Sylvester Smith. Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Glad to be here.
All right, so first and foremost, Sylvester Smith, the player. What is Tennessee getting in this versatile safety?
Very versatile player. I've talked about it a lot throughout the process with coaches and some media guys. I think he's going to be a very versatile player that, in today's defenses, they have to play with more DBs on the field, and they have to have some of those guys that are able to get down closer to the line of scrimmage if needed and still be able to fit the run and still be able to, cover backs out of the backfield, stuff like that. Sylvester's going to be able to do that. He's a guy that can sit back and he can play what people would probably think of as a normal safety position and play some two-shell stuff, play some one high, play some middle of the field stuff. But he's going to be a guy that also can get closer to the line of scrimmage. And, sometimes in today's football, you find some of those safeties that they can't get down there and play 7-8 yards from the line of scrimmage and still be effective. And I think he's going to be able to. He's a thumper. He's got good weight on him. He's around 192, 193 right now. He actually got up last year. I think he was over 205 at the time, and he feels much better. He kind of cut back down a little bit, and he feels a lot better. So I think that's going to help him as far as the coverage stuff and his movement. But he is just very versatile player, and he plays both sides of the ball for us. We're a small school, so he's having to play offense for us. He plays running back, receivers, played a little wildcat quarterback for us. He's played a little bit of everything offensively, moved all around the field. But his versatility is his biggest trait, I think. And he's just going to be I think his best ball's ahead of him. I've told everybody that. Every college coach has came through, and I mean that. I think his best ball's ahead of him, where he gets to focus on one side of the ball. He's on a training table. They're controlling what he eats, or he's on a weight program 12 months out of the year. We're not having to worry about we're out of school that day, so we miss a workout, stuff like that. So, but very versatile player, great kid. He's fun to be around every day. Super competitive. Now, I'll say this: he is a guy that when we have our active rest weeks or active rest days, we'll get in there, and I always want to do something competing. So I'll split the whole team up. Whoever's in athletics that day, we'll split up into as many different teams as possible. We'll play basketball. We'll play something like that. He's the most competitive person on the floor. So I make sure I have to keep him down there. His group, a lot of times I keep him playing on the goal in front of me just so I can watch the game. But super competitive player, outstanding young man too. He's a good kid away from the field. Just pleasure to be around. We enjoy coaching him.
Now, you told me a lot about Sylvester Smith, the player. You kind of got into it there. What about Sylvester Smith, the person in the locker room, away from the football field? Is he a leader? Is he a vocal guy? Kind of what's Tennessee getting in terms of the person?
Yeah, well, first, he's a good kid, first off. He's a guy that he'll come in and sit down in the office, and just some days, game days, I'll be sitting in my office, and we'll be 30, 40 minutes before we go out. He'll come in, plop down, and we'll just sit and talk. Usually it's not about football. Usually it's about life, or sometimes we'll talk politics and life. So, we'll talk a little bit of everything. But no, he's a good kid. He's a guy that he's learning. He has learned and gotten better as he's gotten older. He's maturing and learning how to lead and stuff like that. So he's going to be a guy he's going to show up. He's going to work hard. This year was really rough for him too, because I don't think he turned his ankle early in the year, week 2, I think game 2, turned his ankle and never could recover from it. And I don't think the people got to see, even our fans, got to see the best of him this year from his leadership qualities and stuff like that. So, great kid. I can't say enough about him. The thing I think I'll tell you, the thing I like the most and I'm most proud of him for is, number one, we've set him on a track to graduate in December. He's good with that. He's accepted that challenge. But number 2, a couple weeks ago, I wake up one morning I get up one morning, we go to church, I get home, and on the way home from church, I get a picture from him. He was getting baptized, and it was a picture he sent me of him getting baptized right there. And, that's the thing. We want good football players here. We want good athletes here. We don't want just develop football players. We want to develop athletes, but at the same time, a lot more happy and a lot more pleased with the young man he's going to become when he leaves here than I am. I don't care really what happens with football, as long as he's a good person and he's productive in life.
Chatting things up with Munford head coach Michael Easley. And coach, last thing, kind of I'm sure you coached a lot of great football players in the past, coach some more here in the future, but when did you know that Sylvester was a Division I, a Power 5 guy that can play football at the highest levels and it has a future in this sport.
Yeah. So going back to his ninth grade year, he was inserted as a starter for us at safety game 4 that year. And very quickly I figured out, hey, this guy's gonna have a chance to play at the next level. And he was full speed. He always played full speed. And I talked to coaches about this. In fact, the other day was the first time I ever put a stopwatch on him since I've been here, but I didn't know how fast he was, like on a 40, but I knew he played that fast. Some guys will come out there and blaze a 4.4, 4.5, and then play like a 4.8 in a game. Mm-hmm. He wasn't one of those guys. I don't know how fast he ran in the 40, but that's how fast he played. So that was the first thing that stuck out to me, was he had great game speed. This was as a ninth grader. To tell you how much I trusted him his freshman year, we get into the playoff, or into the last week of the season, where we're on the line, playoffs are on the line, and we're in overtime. We win, we're in the playoffs. We lose, we're out. And we're actually on the offensive side of the ball in overtime. And the first 2 plays, my first down, second down call was to get the ball to him. And that was as a ninth grader. So I just, he's just, it was evident pretty early. Going to his sophomore year, he had a fantastic sophomore year. He was an all-state, first team all-state player. I think he had like 7 or 8 picks that year, which is a lot for this brand of ball here, because we don't see people throwing it 40 times a week. So it's not like there's a ton of chances for that. But it was then, seeing just how good he could be. I thought he was an FBS guy after that. And just as coaches started calling me, in fact, Tennessee, this is when Coach, he's in the pros now, DB's Coach Ansley, Derek Ansley was there. Derek Ansley was actually the first guy to contact me, and that was his first FBS offer, was Tennessee. And so he talked about his skills then. So hearing him talk about him from a college coach perspective, then I kind of went back and started watching a little bit more film, trying to not look at it as his coach, but look at it as an evaluator. And a lot of his skill set was popping out as, this is an FBS guy, power P5 guy. So, it was pretty evident his 10th grade year, just kind of looking back at it and seeing, kind of evaluating it a little bit more. It was pretty evident then he was an FBS guy and a chance to be, special. And I hated last year. Last year was just awful. We had a rash of injuries, but his was something he really, he couldn't help. He just stepped the wrong way or got tackled the wrong way going out of bounds, I believe, and tried to play through it. And he was probably 75, 80% tops most of the year. So it just, I hate it, because he lost a really good year, at least what he could have done numbers wise and stuff like that. But he, gutted through it, tried to play every week. So it was, like I said, going back to your question, it was evident his 10th grade year.
Well, it sounds like Tennessee's getting a good one. I know you'll have a great play from him coming up in his senior season. Tennessee getting the commit of Sylvester Smith, a 4-star versatile defensive back safety, and we'll have continued coverage at VolQuest.com. Coach Michael Easley of Munford High School, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thanks for having me.